The sixth-generation fighter jet will likely undergo drastic changes to bring its unit cost below that of the F-35, U.S. Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall said at the Air, Space and Cyber 2024 conference. The aircraft was initially expected to cost hundreds of millions per unit, with a total order of just 200. The comments follow remarks in July 2024 when Kendall said the Air Force was rethinking how it would achieve air superiority and would pause the program. Kendall also added that a decision on the future of NGAD must be made soon in order to be ready for the Air Force's fiscal 2026 budget request. We are not going to abandon the core function of the United States Air Force, which is to provide air superiority, Kendall said in his keynote address. During the address, the Secretary also linked NGAD and the Next Generation Aerial Refueling System, NGAS. In fact, reducing the price of NGAD would likely involve reducing the aircraft's range and payload, which would increase reliance on tankers. This is where the ability to refuel sixth-generation fighters in contested airspace also comes into play, with tankers capable of defending themselves. Regarding price, Kendall said they haven't set a number or a threshold. I'll just say this straight. The F-35, I think, is the upper limit of what we're willing to pay, he added later. The comments about a new NGAD also follow remarks by U.S. Air Force Chief General David Ulvin during the UK Air and Space Power Association in London in late July 2024 about the service's possible move away from NGAD. Ulvin also revealed an adaptable concept for what he had defined as a light combat aircraft, although it later emerged that the concept was created by AI for the presentation. Ulvin advocated a shift from the built to last paradigm of the Cold War and post-Cold War era to built to adapt. He said the fundamental assumption is that systems that are built to last will be relevant for the future, suggesting that may not be the case for many current aerospace platforms. New NGAD. The first step to reducing the cost would involve a change in design philosophy. Vice Chief of Staff James C. Slife noted that traditionally new air superiority fighters are developed by designing around the platform, around the size of the radar you need, the range of the aircraft, how many Gs you want to pull. You optimize all of those things within the platform. But Slife suggests a new approach, one that involves distributing capabilities among different assets. We've gotten to the point where, with our system-level integration, we have the ability to separate these capabilities and look at air superiority more broadly, Slife said. So the radar might be in one location, the munitions might be in another location. One goal appears to be mass, as the Air Force wants to have a larger fleet of aircraft at a lower cost, rather than a smaller fleet of very expensive aircraft. The more expensive the aircraft, the fewer of them you're going to have. Number does matter, Kendall said. According to official commentary, the Air Force will use the NGAD hiatus to go back to the origins of NGAD and reassess the requirements and how they can be met most efficiently. From a requirements perspective, what I would say is we go back and start at the beginning with, what do we want to do? Slife said, how do we achieve air superiority in a contested environment? Would be one way to frame that question. Another way to frame that question is, how do we build a sixth-generation manned fighter platform? I mean, those are not necessarily the same questions. Another possible cause could be advances in technology, which could significantly impact the NGAD program that originally began in the 2010s. Since we did our initial analysis of alternatives to NGAD, frankly, our technology base has advanced at a faster rate than we anticipated, said Andrew Hunter, Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology and Logistics. So we see that there are capabilities that we have now that we might want to be part of this mission space going forward that are not baked in where we started with the NGAD system. Kendall stressed that the Air Force needs to move quickly in its assessments and decisions. The reason, he said, is because of expectations from Congress and industry. A contract is expected by the end of the year, as well as the need to submit the 2026 budget request.